Okay, hi everybody. Just wanted to take a second to go over section 2.6 with you. You see I got my on-screen calculator. This emulates the TI-36X Pro, and we'll just do it that way today, see how it works. Okay, so I think I want to just start with question 2 here. This is my question 2, yours may be different. And you can see we have a little bit of a data set here. These are weights of sea mussels growing over the California coast. And I'm just going to put these into the calculator real quick. So just remember, you would normally do a memory clear here. It's kind of tricky on this computer, but you press on and clear simultaneously, and then you press data, and you'll have this display, the spreadsheet we always put numbers in. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. Looks like these aren't sorted. A lot of threes. Okay, so those are all in. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. I'm going to press clear and then second data. And we're doing one variable stats here, so I'll highlight that and press enter. And then all of this is fine, so we just hit enter 3 times. And here are the statistics. So what I need in this case is the 5-number summary. So that starts down here with the min. So if there's no mistakes, the min should be 1.7. First quartile should be 2.7. The median is not visible. Oh yeah, it is. It's 3. The third quartile is not visible, so let me go down here to the third quartile and the max. So Q3 is 3.2, and then the max is 3.4. Okay, so we got all that. Let me just check that. Everything looks good on that, so that's great. And then it also repeats the 5-number summary if you made a mistake. All right, so next we're going to have to do some computations. We're going to need the interquartile range, which I did not have you enter. But we'll go ahead and I just want to verify the interquartile range, or just how you do that. So the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So Q3 is 3.2 minus Q1, which is 2.7. Like that. So 0.5, that's Q3, and of course that's what it says down here. Sorry, that's the interquartile range right here. It's Q3 minus Q1. All right, now for the fences, for the outliers, you do the lower fence, and maybe there's a hint here. The lower fence you can see is Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR, and the upper fence is similar, but it's Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. Okay, so going back to the calculator, we're going to do a lower fence, which is Q1 2.7 minus 1.5 times the IQR, which was 0.5. Like that. And so 1.95 is the lower fence. And then the upper fence, again right here, Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So let's do Q3 this time, that's 3.2. Oops. Plus 1.5 times the IQR, which was 0.5. Like that. And so this is 3.95. Okay, so assuming those are right, then we ought to be able to spot outliers. Notice the max here is 3.4, so there's no outlier there. The min is 1.7, which is below the lower fence, so we better look for outliers. Anything below 1.95. So kind of, and it says list them. Doesn't look like they need to be in order. So looking for anything below 1.95 here. Just a quick scan. And all we see is this 1.7. So we just put that there. There's no more. Okay, there. And then let me get this to scroll. Check part answer. All right, this is where we do the box plot. So with the box plot, we just have to drag the elements around. So just a quick reminder, our outlier is at 1.7 here. So you want to drag this up to a 1.7. I'll drag that 1.367 right there. Okay, and then I think I'm going to deal with the box first. So the box goes from 2.7 to 3.2. That's Q1 to Q3. So what did I say? 2.7 to 3.2. Okay, just grab the dot up here. Like that. So that's where the box should go. This line should be the median. So the median is just 3. So we'll just drag this over to 3. Now the left tail and the right tails. The right tail is easiest. There's no outliers on the right, so the right tail is just the max. And the max was 3.4. So we'll just drag this down to the max right there. Little teeny short whisker on the right. And then the left tail would go to the lowest value, which is 1.7, except for that's an outlier. So you can't go down to 1.7. You have to go to the lowest value that's not an outlier. So if you look back up here, yeah, 1.7's the lowest value, but it's an outlier. So what is the closest to that? Or what's just the lowest value that's not an outlier? I see this 2.5, and then we'll look if anything's lower than a 2.5. Besides the 1.7. And of course there's a couple of 2.5s, but looks like the 2.5 is the lowest value, so we'll go ahead and drag this up to 2.5. I should say that's the lowest value that's not an outlier, like that. And we'll check our answer. Looks good, everything's okay. And that should be the end here, so I'll just double check. We got 100%, 1 out of 1. So that's all there is. Okay, hi everybody. I'm gonna do one more problem in section 2.6. So I thought I would go ahead and look at question 1 because that's a Desmos problem. And I need to show you the syntax for doing quartiles in Desmos. So just kind of real quickly, let's zip through this. We know that there's a link here to open up Desmos, and I'm going to need to paste these values in here. So I've copied them, and then I'm going to do Command-C or Control-C in Windows to copy them, and then I'll pop open the Desmos page. And I don't need the graph, so I'll just move that, and we'll say A equals open bracket and then paste Command V or Control V in Windows. Close the bracket if you want, press enter. So that's a 99 element list, which has got me a little worried. but it does say there are 99 values, so I thought there might be 100 and that I missed one. Anyway, so on this one, all we're going to need is the 5-number summary. So if we do the min of A, we get the 56. If we do the first quartile, you type quartile A, and you tell it which one you want. So A comma 1 gives the first quartile. 61 even, apparently. Then the median of A is 62.8. Now we want the third quartile, so you type quartile, and then it's A comma 3, the third quartile. And finally the max, so the max of A. Oops, like that. So that's the 5-number summary. I'll be keying that in just a second. So 56, 61. Then the median 62.8, 64.1. And then the max is probably this 66.5, but I'll double check. Max 66.5 right here. So that's the 5-number summary, or the 5-point summary. And now we're going to need the fences for the outliers. It looks like it's computing the interquartile range for us, but I kind of wish I had asked you to compute this. I don't know why I didn't. But let's just go ahead and double check this. Again, if you do Q3 minus Q1, that's the interquartile range. So again, Q3 64.1. Minus Q1, which I think was 61. So that's the 3.1 that they get here for the interquartile range. All right. Now the fences to the outliers, just again as a reminder, the fences are here in the hints. So you do Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR for the lower fence, and then Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR for the upper fence. So again, let's just go ahead and do this. Q1 is 61 minus 1.5 times the IQR, which I did here. That was just 3.1. Okay, so this is 56.35 for the lower fence. We'll paste that in. Like that. And then the upper fence, that's Q3 again. It's Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So coming back here, Q3 is 64.1 plus 1.5 times the IQR, which was 3.1. Like that. So that looks like 68.75. Okay, and now this is where we look for outliers. So any value that's less than 56.35 or greater. And by the way, you know, if you don't want to take a chance here, you could check your answer at this point. It won't mark you wrong for leaving this blank. So you can do a check answer anytime you want without a penalty, as long as you leave a box blank. Anyway, so these are correct. So I'll go ahead and check for anything less than 56.35, which there's one here, 56.0. So I'm going to put this down here. And then if there's anything bigger, it would have to be bigger than 68.75. This is 66.5, so that's not, the biggest value is not bigger than the upper fence, so that's not an outlier. Okay, so we only have the one outlier, 56.0, this value here, which was below the lower fence of 56.35. So we'll just say check that. There we go, 56.0 is a good answer, and now we're going to do our box plot. Okay, I think this time I'm going to start with the median. So the median is 62.8. I'll just drag that up to its position about there. Okay, now the first quartile is 61. So I ought to be able just to drag that up to 61. It's got to be real careful where you point. 61 right there. And then the third quartile was 64.1. So just got to pull that down a little ways, like that. Okay, so that's the box with the median. Now we can do, maybe I'll do the max. So the max here was 66.5. So I'll come back here, bring it down. 66.5 right there. I'm going to move this left out of the way. This is not correct. I'm just getting it out of the way. I'm going to do the outlier next. So the outlier was the 56, so that has to go right up to here. Uh-oh. Let me try that again. Right here to 56, right on the spot. Okay, now I need this lower whisker here. This should be drawn to the lowest value that's not an outlier. So the outlier was this 56.0, and then the lowest value that wasn't an outlier was a 59.1. So you never draw the whisker to an outlier. You draw it to the value that's closest to the outlier. So what did I say? 59.1, okay. So I was there and then I got scared. So 59.1 is right there. Okay, so that should be the correct box plot. I'll check it. See here. So everything looks great. Okay, so the sample skewness of these data is negative 0.32. You can kind of see that with this outlier on the left, it's skewed to the left. And the negative skewness means that the data are skewed to the left again. So if it's negative, it's skew left. That's what skewness measures. The kurtosis is 3.21, and we said anytime the kurtosis is bigger than 3, it's going to have long tails like a kangaroo, leptokurtic. So hopefully everything's good here, and I believe we are done. So I'm going to go up and just see what my score is to make sure I didn't miss anything. 1 out of 1. Okay, great. So I'm all done. And we're going to call it a day.